Hi everyone! In this video I'm going to be doing my October reading wrap-up, and in October I read 3 books. Now if I sound a little bit off, that's because I'm recovering from strep, but I'm really excited to do this video and just shower and put some makeup on, like proper clothes that aren't sweatpants, no shade to sweatpants. Anyway, let's get into the reviews. The first book that I read was What You Are Looking For Is in the Library by Michiko Ayamo. I listened to this as an audiobook and this was a super enjoyable listen. This book is set up as a series of short stories, and there's one common thread, which is this character of the librarian, and her name is Sayori Komachi. Now, Miss Komachi is set up to be this wise, sage-like character who imparts her knowledge to people through book selections that she offers, as well as these needle felt objects that she calls bonus gifts. Now, each chapter follows a different character who's basically at a crossroads in their life. And of course, by going to the library and interacting with Miss Komachi, their life is then changed. I really appreciated how relatable the characters felt. There's one character who's in their 20s and they're working at a job and they just don't feel like it's a match and they could be doing something better with their lives, but they just don't know what. There's another character who is a millennial living with his mom and trying to figure out what they want to do as well. And there's another character who's a retiree and just doesn't know what to do with his time and thinking through what would be purposeful to him in this new era of his life. I think depending on your own situation, you might gravitate towards certain stories or characters more, but overall, I thought it was a really charming and heartwarming book. It was a solid 4-star listen for me, and if you're looking for something heartwarming and just uplifting, check this one out. Okay, I'm going to skip to the last book that I read this month, and that was Kafka on the Shore by Haruki Murakami. So the reason I read this book is because that my husband gifted it to me, and we decided to read it together. When we were dating 10, 12 years ago, we read Murakami's The Wind-Up Bird Chronicle as we were doing long distance, and that was such a nice memory of that time. So for Christmas this past year, my husband gifted me this book as well as himself a copy so we could read it together and talk about it like we did before. So as sweet as the gift intent was for this book, my husband and I just did not connect with this book at all. We actually had to get the audiobook version and we finished up a lot of it as we were on a long car ride. Now initially I found Murakami's writing style quite mesmerizing and I was really curious to see what was going to happen. But then things got overly descriptive and I just felt like that things dragged on and on. However, the repetition wasn't the thing that bothered me the most. It was the way that women were portrayed and how anything sex-related was talked about. Now, there's a ton of other videos that discuss the portrayal of women in Murakami's work, so I won't go into that. I'll just say that I found it to be quite cringeworthy and it was a bit excessive to the point where I just was not enjoying the novel. And honestly, even if it wasn't repetitive, even just having one of those portrayals was hard for me to get over. So this book was just not for me. So that's why I gave it 2.75 stars, which might be a bit generous, but we're just gonna leave it at that. Now onto a book I absolutely loved, and that was Healer of the Water Monster by Brian Young. This novel follows Nathan, who's a young Navajo boy that goes to stay with his grandmother over the summer. He ends up encountering a water monster that's quite sick and makes a promise to help that water monster. The magical realism in this book is beautifully juxtaposed with complex human experiences like family dynamics, mental health struggles, money struggles, and more. I listened to this as an audiobook and I loved hearing the Navajo language come to life through this telling. For me, this book was a beautiful example how certain categories like middle grade and young adult might be a bit limiting because just because they might be set for that audience doesn't mean other audiences like myself, who's definitely not middle grade or young adult, could enjoy them. And the writing was just absolutely fantastic. This book gave me all the feels. I even cried at certain parts, and I'm not usually a crier in books. That is just a testament to Brian Young's writing and just how gripping the story and the characters were. So if you're looking to learn and feel, definitely check out this book. It was a 5-star book for me. So thank you for making it this far. This was a different style than my last wrap-ups, and I hope to do this on a monthly basis, but tell me which ones you like better, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks so much.